Thank you, sir. That's being responsible.
So just that way, so, so what we'll do is we definitely, once we get past this situation, and I'll follow up with you about What's up? What's up, cuz? Yeah? Yeah? We about to get it started right now. Where the family at? What you need, baby? What they at? We good, man. If we don't come down, we're going to have food here at 3 o'clock. We got the movie about to show right now. What movie is that? It's going to be MLK. This is Burning House. That movie that y'all made. That movie y'all made. Oh, it dropped actually next month. You didn't come to the premiere, man. You should have came to the premiere. I forgot all about it. When I looked at it, it's going to be more, though. It's going to be more.
My sister won't let me stay.
Hey, Brother Robert. Brother Robert. Brother Robert. Is this a boy like me? Boy like me? Boy like me?
A boy like me. Yeah, boy like me. there, right? Right there. See a boy like me, right there.
You want that 2.5?
Huh? No, you can just. That's what I want. That's what we're gonna start off with. We're gonna start off with that one.
We about to get started, so everybody can go. We got a film we want to showcase. Nephew, come on, bro. Thank you all for coming out to MLK Burning House. So just got to give you a rundown of what's expected for the day. We're going to feature a film, and we all understand what he was meaning, burning house, right? One of the things that MLK did, he stood for equality, he stood for integration, he stood for those dreams. But in pursuit of that, he had a reflection. And his reflection was, I think that I led my people into a burning house. Why do you think he felt that way after integration went down? You can raise your hand, you can speak out.
You realize that integration was the most thing for the proxy because they gave up their ownership of things in their own community with over black people. And you realize that wasn't the best approach. And you notice that we got more understanding and knowledge of things as we continue to progress in this knowledge as a leader. We began to become the baby say more radical, but it was really common sense that we didn't integrate. We should have done things that was already ours in our community and so forth.
Yeah, so, and key thing, so we can reiterate. When you talk about black people and economics, you know, we had more wealth during that time of Reconstruction, right? Now we at this point in time now, when people is free, right? And people are, you know, having opportunity for jobs and investment, right? Building plans for the children. And we had more wealth back in the time when they didn't even do none of that than where we are today. We got a lot of black millionaires, even billionaires. But nevertheless, it's never equipped to how we were doing things and budgeting and moving together and putting money back into our neighborhoods and being economically sound with our dollars back when we had very little. There's no reason why we should be living in the neighborhood we don't own our property. Or we don't own the gas station.
or the corner store. Or we don't, the property taxes pay for our school in our neighborhood, right? That's stability. And getting a clinic, having a mom and pop clinic right there in the neighborhood. Your mechanic shop. Everybody stayed in the same neighborhood. Now, when you talk about integration, a lot of you black folks want to move out there to Grand Blanc, want to be out there and say, oh, I live in Flushing. Right? You think you arrived, huh? Not understanding how detrimental that was as we reflected on burning house and what Martin Luther King said. That is something that we have to analyze and we have to look at and be honest with ourselves. Are we doing our neighborhoods, our community a disservice? You know, one thing I dislike is because my son is in high school, my daughter in high school too. They go to Grand Blanc. But when I be talking about Flint Central and schools of choice, things of that nature, Northern, Northwestern, Southwestern, right? That came with a lot of history. We was a part of that. But now that it's shut down, it's just an empty building. About to be demolished. So all the banners, all the trophies, all the team parties, the lock-in, right? All that stuff is just gone. So I be wanting to bring it back to Flint schools. I know we got some work to do in Flint schools. You know, we doing it. But I don't even want to do a disservice to them. But I am a part of the problem because my children go out there, right? And I got to be real too. I'd be so mad at myself, so I'm conflicted, right? But nevertheless, when we say, get some more chairs. Nevertheless, we're gonna have we got a few films we're gonna watch, then we're gonna have a little Q&A too. So we're gonna be interactive on this whole session. Y'all with me? We gonna all participate? Yes. We gonna celebrate the life and the legacy of MLK? Yes, sir. Is we gonna celebrate for real? Yes, sir. Come on, we gotta be excited about it. So definitely, man, I wanna make sure that we get into it. Time is of the essence. I do wanna bring up, so my name is, you don't know, Devon Robinson, serve as the president of BLF. And I do want to bring up our chair, Mr. Hubert Naeem Roberts.
Yeah! Come on, let's get some life in here. Y'all acting like y'all still on the plantation. Come on, don't be afraid to be black. You ain't gotta hate yourself because you're black now. Don't
Y'all
be
still on the
afraid.
plantation? Y'all still on the plantation?
You ain't gotta hate nobody else. Come on now, y'all gotta be involved. Oh, Dr. Z in the house. Dr. Z in the house. It's tricky now. Well, I'm glad that you guys made it a point to honor a beautiful and a beautiful man. And again, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we are continuing to work. Now, one thing we're going to be started with, this is going to be, pay attention guys, this is going to be educational. What we're trying to do is share some live information, and then we're going to have some context around that information, and then I'm going to share some things with you guys that you guys don't know anything about. I am going to spark your mind today in a way that you've never been sparked before, and then I'm hoping when you leave here, it's going to give you the ammunition to be in our community, to be doing some great things in our community. Now, the first thing I'm going to start off with, if I can get my technical person here, as always, we always start off, anytime we engage in our community, we always have to acknowledge and ask the oldest person in the room, if you don't mind, the oldest person in the room, I would like you to give me permission to speak. So who is the oldest person in the room? Don't be ashamed because that's an honor. Who's that oldest person?
I'm 59. That's you. I'm 70.
You 70?
Oh, okay, OG.
79. May I have your permission? Thank you. I got permission to speak on my health. That's what we always do. Where we come from in our culture in Africa, we come from a community where we didn't believe. We believed ourselves. And always when there are issues going on in our community back in Africa, the elders came together and they made sure they squashed the situation so it didn't get out of hand. And so as I asked the older person to allow me to speak, today I'm coming to you guys in the name of the great empire from the Nango people in the southwest of Africa. It is located right below the Benin and next to Ghana. That community, that empire was one of the first empires that was raided and stolen by Portuguese in the early part of the later part of the 13th century. And again, I just want to honor the number of people. Today, our first instructional piece is going to be one. Stop out taking our first installation here is going to be a boy like me. I want y'all to listen to this. It's going to be real loud. This is a boy like me.
Okay, we got to get it and put it right here.
I'm here demonstrating for the brilliant and intelligent artwork that they've done here to make the show broadcast. Saying, well, you guys keep pretending that I'm not here. You've done a great job. And just you want to read and write and what you have to do is I'm going to talk about some other kids. Not you, Mary, John, and Bob. These are kids from other schools. And did you know in some states it used to be against the law to teach blacks to read or write? Nowadays, we're getting these integrated schoolrooms, and most people think that if we get enough teaching and enough jobs, everything is going to take care of itself. But there's a scar of history running right through kids as young as these. It tears you up if you know how to look at drawings kids make, because kids shouldn't know much about history and anything about discrimination. I mean, nobody hates little black kids, but why do some of them cause so much trouble? And if you ask black and white children to draw themselves on trees or houses, some strange things happen. We asked some ordinary white kids from ordinary families to make some drawings for us. Like, well, let's call him John. John's white, and we asked him to draw himself. This is John. This is his house, and this is his tree. Then we asked a black kid, let's call him Ralph, to do the same thing. This is Ralph's drawing of himself. This is his tree. Now, why should two kids of the same age draw so differently? Enter the expert. This is Dr. Emmanuel Hammer, psychiatrist specializing in children's therapy.
Let me illustrate it for you. Let's take these drawings.
No matter what a child draws, he's really picturing himself. Ask a secure child to draw a tree, and he's likely to draw a bountiful spreading tree. A black child drew this tree. Cut off in its growth. Stark, bare, ungratified. It works the same way with drawings of people. Normal children, average drawings. The mood is happy, the child feels capable, the drawings are complete, and the arms are developed to emphasize strength. These children were old enough to draw complete figures. The significant fact is what they left out. Arms, hands. A child may sense that a situation in life is so powerless that he himself is equivalent to an armless man. My own study reveals that armless people appear 3 times more frequently in the drawings by black children than those by white. The faceless beings suggest that these youngsters not only feel themselves to be less than they might be, they don't even feel themselves to be. The black child who is forced to live in a hostile world may disappear in self-defense. He drifts through life feeling like a shadow. He stops caring, and he stops trying. A child who has this on his mind cannot be a child. A child who has this on his mind could want to burn down cities when he gets older.
The whole confusion was summed up by a black 9-year-old in these 2 paintings. This is a 9-year-old boy draws a white man, Robin Hood maybe. And this is how the same boy draws himself. And this is the consequence of deformed history.
Okay. Okay. Now, so you guys saw the distortion, and that distortion of reality starts or it happened when our ancestors were stolen from the continent of Africa. That concept of not feeling that I have any eyes, any limbs, any feet, or anything, or that I'm not even a person. When we were stolen and minding our own business on a whole big continent, running around butt naked, that's a little joke, but not raping one another, not mutilating each other, not doing anything like that. This was taking place on the continent of Africa, which there are 54 countries, and the island of Madagascar. What happens to a people when they are stolen and ripped away and ripped apart from their roots? You got to think about this. When you are taken from your roots, you become like a tree without roots or a tree without water. And you and I both know that a tree or a plant or even your human body cannot exist without water. So just imagine your person today, go 5 days without water and see what happens to you. And again, for 500 years, that's what has happened to us, and that's why you see the distortion in many of our minds today. You got to remember, for 265 years now, 265 years in this country, we were brought over here as property. We were brought over here classified as a pen, a pencil, a paper, a chair, a cow, a door. We had no value other than to work us to death. For 250 years now, you cannot get around that, guys. A lot of times people want to dismiss that. We want to dismiss 250 years and talk about welfare, but we don't understand what subsidies are. Do you know some of the biggest people in this country that get subsidies are white farmers? White farmers who own 95% of all the land in this country. Do y'all know there's a family, one family? It's called the Emerson family. They own over 2 million acres of land. One family by themselves, called the Emerson family. Y'all can look them up. They own over 2,333,000 parcels of land in America. They are the biggest landowners in America. Subsidies. When you think about welfare and subsidies, so what is a subsidy? What's a subsidy? When you subsidize something, what do you subsidize? How do you subsidize? Huh? Money. Money is given to you. Do y'all know who is for the biggest subsidies the government pays? 4 of the biggest subsidies in America today. Number one, who think of number one? Who would you think it is? Y'all learning now, come on. Number one subsidy that the government give money to. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Foreign country.
Nope. Number one, Boeing. Listen to me, Boeing. Boeing is number one. Boeing that builds aircraft. Number 2 is Intel. Number 3 is Ford. And number 4 is General Motors. Now, on the other end, $44 million go to white farmers every year to control what they produce. Y'all get this? In 1862, they had the Homestead Act. Anybody know what my sister, what was the Homestead Act? No, that's what we learning. The Homestead, 1862. Homestead Act allowed Europeans, white Europeans coming from England, to get 160 free acres of land that many of them are benefiting today. They gave that away. We never received nothing. Let me just make that very clear. Okay, guys, let me make that clear. So are y'all learning something? Y'all gotta get y'all learning. I'm gonna paddle you guys. Y'all gonna go to principal class. All right, the next slide is you got me?
This one here.
You got my time. Number 2, I need that 401. 401, number 2 is my dream turned into a nightmare. Dr. Carr. While she's getting that, Dr. Carr, it's called My Dream Turned into a Nightmare. In class episode 254. So, as I was saying, guys, so I don't want to bore you guys, remember, 85% of all businesses in the United States, 85% of all businesses in this country are owned by white people. 85% of all businesses, and you guys can look at Flint, Michigan, when we talk about power and what power looks like locally, when you don't have the relationship with the mayor or the city council, because you think about what has to happen. When you have a community, and we 11 years later are dealing with the water crisis. So when we are fighting amongst ourselves, when we are fighting amongst each other, we can't get anything done. And so a lot of times they complain about what's going on, but we live in a city and all power is local. And so if we're not engaged in working together to making sure that we have resources for our community, that everybody is eating, it's not about hating nobody or being against anybody. It's how we all can eat. It's about how we all can build. It's that all our children should have access. Everybody should have access to housing. Everybody should have access to a job. Returning citizens should be having access to be made whole again. We have a community where we have these properties and all these things in our community that should be valued and validated so we can build amongst ourselves. This street, Saginaw Street, at one time back in the 60s and 70s, this street right here was a powerful street back in the day. This was powerful, and then right across the track, St. John was powerful. Anybody remember the village of St. John? Anybody had grandparents over there on St. John? I lived on St. John. I lived with Hungarians, Czechoslovakians, Italians. I mean, you wouldn't believe how we all got along over that community. Now, one thing, just put in. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking about these other up guys. So the Democratic Party, you guys gotta remember, a lot of times we talk about Democrats. Another term for a Democrat is demo rats. Demo rats, because the Democratic Party never loved black people. Y'all gotta remember, man, the Dixiecrats. Do you know when you think about power, the Democratic Party always had the power. The Democratic Party always had the power to make things equal. In this country, it's about being equal. It's about being equal and being treated equally as any other human being, where you get the same resources, you get the same school, you get the same health care, you get the same opportunity of anybody else. When that is not the case, then we're dealing with inequality. This next, I need you to put me at 15 minutes. 15 minutes, speed me up to 15 minutes.
This don't have 15 minutes on it.
Go up to 15 minutes.
It doesn't have 15 minutes on it. This doesn't have 15 minutes on it. It's only 4 minutes long.
Okay, go with that. I'm sorry, you was right.
That was right, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, guys, and again, not to scare anybody, I want to give you facts. Because a lot of times people always want to say you racist when you talk about being pro-black. Or if you talk about being pro Gucci shoes, or you talk about being pro anything, then you got to be against something. No, it's about equality and equal access to opportunity. It should be an equal opportunity to be able to access. Okay, guys, pay attention to this. I got it.
Can I have a drink? My poor little children, one day live in a nation
that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial. Now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation. I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended, but I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the guns of war, it loses its social perspective, and programs of social uplift suffer. This is just a fact of history, so that we do face many more difficulties as a result of the war. It's much more difficult to really arouse a conscience during the time of war. That is something about a war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls the conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness, hatred, and violence. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. It didn't cost the nation. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodation. It didn't cost the nation anything to get the right to vote established. Now we are confronting issues.
Okay, this is a good point. He's saying, Dr. King is saying, it didn't cost the nation 1 penny to integrate a bus, a food counter, a restaurant, or anything. It didn't cost them nothing, guys, to integrate. To integrate doesn't mean that you are a part of the system. They just tolerate you to get their dollar or get your dollar from you. You ain't got no ownership of that bus. You don't have no ownership of that restaurant. You don't have no ownership of your own body. So how dare we sit here today in 2025, guys? We are still asking to be viewed as human beings today, man. In 2025, let me share with you. 1311. The year 1311. Mansa Abu Bakr, that's Mansa Musa brother, the richest man in the history of mankind is Mansa Musa. Mansa only means king or ruler like that. But his brother is Abu Bakr. This is 1311. He's so deep. He said, I'm gonna get me 2,000 ships. He had 2,000 ships built and had provisions that would last him 7 years, and he and thousands of his people from Mali got on these ships, and they was never heard from again. This is in 1311. See, I want y'all to get that in your mind. We keep thinking that we haven't produced nothing, built nothing, did nothing in our life. We are the first progenitors. We are the first people on the planet Earth. We have a dignity and a respect for us to hold our heads up high. How dare we succumb to just twerking, to just rapping, to just walking around here using drugs like we're crazy, killing each other. We never killed each other on the planet, on the continent of Africa. We never did that. We didn't even eat animals. We were vegetarians, guys. Keep going.
That cannot be solved without costing the nation billions of dollars. Now, I think this is where we're getting our greatest resistance. They may put it on many other things, but we can't get rid of slums and poverty without it costing the nation something. I feel that nonviolence is really the only way that we can follow, because violence is just so self-defeating. riot ends up creating many more problems for the Negro community than it solves. You can, through violence, burn down a building, but you can't establish justice. You can murder a murderer, but you can't murder through violence. You can murder a hater, but you can't murder hate. And what we are trying to get rid of is hate, injustice, and all of these other things that continue the long night of man and humanity.
So we can recap. What we're trying to do is deal. You can close it out. Hate. Did you just hear what he said? We're trying to eradicate hate. How do you eradicate hate when somebody hates you just for the color of your skin? They don't know you. You don't live next to you. They ain't thought about you. They ain't seen you in no plane. They ain't seen you. They ain't did nothing with you. And they just see your color. And they've been institutionalized in their genetic makeup, in their DNA. Because hate is taught. When you hate something, when you don't like peas, when you don't like corn, when you don't like caviar, or when you guys like, most black people like chitlin. So since you want to kill yourself with chitlin, that's a taught behavior to want to kill yourself eating pork. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't want no poor people to be mad at me. Y'all be throwing feathers at me. So again, hate is taught, and this kind of mindset has been taught over generations in this country because you have to teach fear. You have to teach things that are the other. I have to be comfortable with being able to kill you like George Ford or Samuel Bland, but I don't think that you are deserving of life. I don't think my women folk, I don't think you women supposed to be treated as the queens that you are. I'm supposed to disrespect you and do any maneuver, mutilate your body and have my way with you because that's the mindset. That is the mindset of somebody that's evil internally inside. Do y'all know? Many of you guys are Christians. So during the Christian crusade, and some of you guys are biblical scholars, and no offense, but if you read your history honestly, you know, the knights of the round table were mercenaries in the name of God, in the name of Jesus. They were going around different parts of the country or the world and killing people in the name of Jesus, in the name of God. Knights Templars. And then on top of that, the Tower of London over in England. Do you guys know what the Tower of London in England, what it used to be? Anybody know what that used to be? Some of you historians? Prison. It used to be a prison, but whatever. It was a torture chamber. They used to, when people went against the authority, they had different devices up in the Tower of England, right now that exists today. They would take a body or bodies and do all kinds of things to it. Put them, y'all heard of guillotine, y'all heard, they would stretch the body into a break, strip, do like this, rip the bodies apart. Just, now in your mind, who could sit and watch somebody's body be ripped apart? Think about the mindset of somebody that could enjoy. Some of you guys may remember watching your white counterparts Christian shows during Easter. So you got the Roman Colosseum, and so you have all these people out here in the Colosseum fighting all these animals. How many of you guys think you're fair pretty well against a lion or a tiger? I don't think you can win that too. I think you have my brother. That's the Medina in us, huh? We come in there saying we're gonna handle it. You guys understand?
Or you gonna get handled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely so we just want to get some feedback. And if you are standing over here, we want to have like an interaction conversation. So come on, Mother Deb. We need you in the mix. Mary, why you so far away? Yeah. We gonna eat when we transition over there. But just in general, what is some of the feedback from what you're hearing today, what you know of Martin Luther King? And when you talk about the mission of MLK, what should we be doing as people?
Go ahead.
When we talking about, I've been hearing boycotts,
I've been hearing.
Oh, wait a minute, it's boycott. Boycott, not boycott, boycott.
Some people got a problem with boycott. I don't got a problem with boycott.
So boycott. Meaning boycott means you're gonna selectively spend your dollar at people that are engaged or allied. Meaning we will find stores or gas stations, even if we may not own it, but if they are putting back in our community and supporting our community, then we will go to that one gas station, even if it's owned by a county. Y'all get me? Or we'll go to this one grocery store. We build a relationship until we have our own. We build a relationship with one store. Then we have share rides. We can create jobs. That's for men and women coming home that are transitioning from being returning citizens. We create jobs where they pick people up from their home and take them to a designated store that is working to help to build our community where we have our own store. Case in point, on Clyde Road, it is appalling that that store has not been opened. That is the perfect example of when a community does not work together. Even when you think about my foundation, the DDA, they were able to build a $35 million detention center with no problem. On Pasadena Street, there's a brand new detention center, and who's going to be in there? If we don't wake up, I'm not going to put this on you, so I ain't going to say that. The detention center, listen.
You ain't gonna be there, young man.
No. But those places are built for people that look like me and you, our children. That's the only point that I'm trying to make, guys. Those places that they value, they put money where they value. You always know what a people, government, or places believe, how they spend their money and their time. They will show you. Maya Angelou said, you must believe when a person shows you who they are, you should believe it. And this is America is a business. So the question that he had,
Before we go, the point too though, we do got to start looking at boycotting. We got to stop spending our dollars with those folks that don't respect you, right? That's how the Montgomery bus boycott came into play. They stopped using their dollars and their monies with the transportation system, and they end up crippling it down south. But then, a year later, they came back and said, well, we need them dollars, right? So what y'all want, right? That's how you start looking at the Walmart. That's how you start looking at these gas stations. That's how you start looking at whatever shop that you patronize. You have to spend your dollars wisely. This brother was deep and intentful when he said those different things. And everybody got to be on code. Everybody has to respect the order. So if we come up with a plan today and say we're not spending our dollar with X, then everybody should follow suit. It's as simple as that. Just like when we in this community. In this community, we so divided. We in a majority black community, 65%, that's ran by black leadership, and we divided. Whose fault is that? That's ours. Now, systematically, we can say, yeah, it's the white man because they played a part in putting these factors up, right? Systemic and structural racism plays a big part. But us, as black people, we perpetuate that same behavior. That's why it's still going on today. And you wonder why we ain't getting nowhere. You wonder why we sit up here looking at city council, we're looking at the mayor, we're looking at everything else. Like, what's going on in our city? You wonder why you haven't received a dime from the water crisis. And it's been over 10 years. Nobody's been held accountable for none of that stuff. Whose fault is it? You gonna sit back and allow them to treat you the way they're treating you right now, you're gonna do something about it. You're gonna be on code together. There's no reason why we should be in these situations right now. We gotta look at ourselves. What part are we playing? Are we looking in the mirror and saying like, okay, well, I'm on code? When I'm making decisions on the betterment of people that's in my community, am I not looking at it for my own individual selfish self? Or I'm looking at it for everybody else? Or am I getting along to play along at the detriment of everybody else? Those are real community questions. And if you're in those situations, whether you're a leader in the community, whether you're a representative downtown, whether you got a nonprofit organization in this community, whether you got a business in this community, everybody play a part. So learn to be on one accord. We shouldn't be having these conversations and trying to be accepted by a group of people that never wanted to accept you in the first place. So it's that simple. And we do got some strong allies, as I know, right? We got some strong allies in this community that really want to see change, right? They really want to see change. But they waiting on what we gonna do as a collective, as us being organized, and how they can join the fight. So I want to make sure we sit on that. It's a big difference in boycott and boycott. I want us to understand the difference between that, and we both play a part in both of those initiatives.
And let me tell you what allyships look like, where we don't have it with the mock plantation owners in it, if I can say it like this. Allyships look like this. On December the 6th, 2024, Governor Rick Whitmore gave Dow Chemical $120 million to save 5,000 jobs. Y'all don't know this. See, again, y'all don't know this. But that's why politics, the brother was here earlier who was talking about how important politics is. See, you guys keep wanting to dance, get high, play, watch football, all that garbage. I ain't watched sports since Colin Kaepernick. Garbage. Y'all get caught up on that, lottery, all that mess. But the governor, a Democratic governor, gave Dow Chemical, which is $1 billion company, $120 million to save 5,000 jobs. She haven't given a dime to save or create any jobs here. And when you look at allyship, that's how they play the power, because we are not at the table demanding. Dr. King went down to Memphis, Tennessee. Mr. Echoes and Mr. Roberts were in the sitting taking lunch. They was eating lunch. There was over 1,500 public or black public workers in Memphis, Tennessee. These black men were sitting on the back of the garbage truck. Why they were doing that, I don't know. When a white man engaged the system and scooped those black men up and crushed them inside the garbage truck, and laughed about it. So again, that's why Dr. King went down to Memphis. They were striking because of the conditions and how they were being treated as workers for the Memphis Public Department of the Public Garbage Pickup. And so that's why Dr. King was down there, because they were striking for dignity, unifying themselves as a union, because the biggest misconception y'all got, again, let me get this so I don't lie. There are 26 states in this country, 26 states that are right-to-work states. There are 19 states that are unionized. Before then, the unionization started in 1794 in Philadelphia. The concept of union, meaning collective bargaining, started back with shoemaking, and they was working children to death. It started back in 1794 in Philadelphia, because children were used as children labor. That means your and my child could go to these places and be worked to death like animals. So they started unions. So again, and the whole reason that they busted the union, people get misguided when they talk about right to work state, because a right to work state meaning that's the same thing as a plantation. I can hire and fire you at any time I want to. You have no collective bargaining. You have no power. And so this is what's going on today, guys. Let's go with this next. So I want you guys to play Malcolm. We got to always talk to our elders, and we review them because they have so much to give us, guys. So I want y'all to pay attention to Malcolm.
The white power structure to slow down that struggle for freedom and human dignity uses tricks. 100 years ago, they could do it with chains. Today, they use tricks. And one of the tricks that they've invented is this certain integration. So get Negro, so-called Negro leaders to accept a few certain crumbs of integration that don't solve any problems for the masses of black people in this country whatsoever, but it does make the hand-picked Negroes be satisfied to slow down the cry of the masses. And a good example of that is, as soon as the spirit of rebellion or revolution began to spread among the masses of black people in this country. And they began to take an active part, and they showed that they weren't confined to this nonviolent approach. Then the government or the power structure began to sit up and take notice. And now, as you said earlier, the president is talking about new legislation and to put it, take it out of the streets and put it back in the courts. Well, as long as it's in the streets, it's in the hands of the masses of black people who were not compromised or who cannot be brought up. But when you put it back in the courts, then that puts it back into the hands of the hand-picked Negro leaders who will allow the judges and the other persons that are involved in this white power structure to slow them down. It's only a trick. And as long as the masses of black people are involved in the struggle for freedom, not integration, but freedom, respect as human beings, respect as men, and show that they're willing to die to be respected as men, then the power structure sits up and takes notice. But as long as this mass element is led, and when I say led, I use led in quotes, actually contained by humble-time Negro leaders who hold them back, who tell them turn the other cheek, and things like that, then the white power structure isn't worried at all. They're only worried when they know that the masses of black people are ready to explode, and in exploding it will destroy some of the furniture in their house. And then they react accordingly.
Now, so you got great point. The difference between freedom, being free, and being integrated into something that don't want you in there to begin with. Freedom. Most of us in this room are not willing to die. And as he pointed out, we have people that look like me and you that are gatekeepers. They are in places where they are next to my foundation, the court system, like Mr. Perry, the judges, and all those people that are gatekeepers. So they are in the system. So being in the system and understanding power, because unless you're going to take power, because the only thing power respects is power. If we really have some power, and our power we really do have, the only power, black people don't have no guns, we can forget that. The only real power that black people have is their dollar. The only real freedom we have in this country is how we spend our money. Because we are the #1 consumers on the planet. As opposed to buying eyelashes, buying clothes, buying BBL, buying facelift, buying makeup, buying all this garbage, liquor, buying weed. If we shut all that down, y'all, just for a week, just for 2 weeks, just think what it would look like, guys, if we didn't buy nothing for 2 weeks. If all you guys came, I got a big house. So I invite all you guys to my house, right? We all gonna do the potluck. We're gonna eat peanut butter for 2 weeks. We're gonna kumbaya. We're gonna get together. We're gonna love one another. We ain't gonna spend a dime for 2 weeks, guys. My house is big. Y'all can all get lost. In the basement, upstairs, everybody get lost. Y'all have your own space for 2 weeks. That's something we could do, guys. But no, a lot of times we mad at our brother. I'm mad at him. This is my brother. I ain't talked to him in 2 or 3 years because he owed me some money. Or I'm jealous of my sister. Or those kids, those kids are crazy. Those kids are you. You talking about the kids are crazy? You created those kids. How you gonna run from the crib and say, I don't want to have nothing to do with the kids? So many of us say we won't have nothing to do with our children. And we created them. We made them. We spoiled them. We corrupt them. So when Malcolm was talking about freedom, what freedom looks like is us willing to say, I will take back what is rightfully mine, and it's our humanity. How do we keep asking? We've been asking for 500 years to be treated like a new thing. You got the Voting Rights Act, you got all these kind of things that they put in place, 13, 14, 15 amendments. And if you understand the Constitution for real, we would classify as 3/5 of human beings. That's still on the books today. The Dred Scott decision is still on the books today. The Dred Scott decision says that we, as black people, have no right to this country. They have not removed it off the books today. It's still on the books today, guys. And so, even with the voting rights, at any time, you all know, Every 15 years, they have to sign the Voting Rights Act back into law. Do anybody know that? Anybody know? Why y'all guys do? You said I was aware. It's a privilege. It's not right, guys. And any guy can take it going away. If Donald Trump is not going to play, one thing Donald Trump is going to do, like a Snoop Dogg and Nelly and all these I hate to Negroes, Donald Trump is going to let you Negroes know where y'all stand at, right? Y'all just wait for this. Y'all going to have fun next 4 years. I need to mention this before I go. Anybody familiar with Natchez, Mississippi, 1865? Anybody understand what happened at the Punch Bowl? The Devil Bowl. I mean, what happened there?
After slavery, they took all the men, the women and the men. They took the women and the children and put them in a concentration camp, and they did not feed them. So they just died. And the people say in that area, food freezes, the fruit is just so big and so luscious. Everybody knows not to eat it because the fertilizer was the black people's sign.
20,000.
Look it up.
20,000. 20,000. Black people. By the Union Army, the so-called Lincoln, all that BS. The Union Army, because they survived, even though they were supposed to fight for freedom, they still have a racial tension that they hate black people, and they allowed 20,000 black people to starve to death. Y'all need to know your history. And the whole reason that we are in this is because we don't respect history, we don't read history, we don't believe it, and we do nothing about it. That's the whole reason we're in the position that we're in Flint. That's why we have got a dime for water. That's why they haven't respected our community. That's why the mayor is a corrupt individual along with the city council and all those groups down there. And again, don't disrespect me, I got to make all that stuff, get me wrong. But again, when you are part of the system, you can't be in the system and work in the system for the system to change. A lot of times systems are not going to change because people are going to be like Alex Wade Powell. You got to be like Alex Wade Powell, man. You got to be like a Warren Rock down in Alabama. You got to be in the system.
You got to be very serious about leadership. Right? And it's not about, sometimes you got to call it fair, you got to say it's not going to be. If I'm not performing out here, really, I expect me to be accountable for the day. You know, that's what it is, right? No matter what you think, if you're in the next position of work, you got to stop giving passes to that nonsense. Everybody. You sit up here talking behind each other all day, but what's real is like, you talking to me, brother. Listen, I don't know what you got going on over there. We out there, because it's hard to keep. We have to protect our elders and our children. I'm not just calling out these single one of them, all of them be doing the best. But it's not, it's a nine-body, nine-person house. Everybody is going to represent people. We never say that as a constituent. We don't say, hey, listen, we're not pleased by your behavior. We don't like how you voted on this last resolution. How will we have on accountability? We paid the tax, we paid the salary. So I mean, I don't want to get twisted about, it's not about calling nobody out. So we do gotta have some real conversations with folks who want to represent. This is what you can do.
So you don't want to call them out, but you want to call them in. Because, you know, if you meet them with a certain type of attitude, you're just going to get that back. But educating people and talking to them and having those crucial, critical conversations is what's going to bring understanding, education, and knowledge. So you do have to be kind of, you don't be mindful. You can't be hurtful, you can't name call each other. You can't blame people for systemic things that's happened to them. But you know, we gotta continue to have like groups like this to broaden our knowledge and our to bring awareness.
said earlier that we have to know who we vote for. And we have to, many of them have been in that office one way, and after they got there, they did a turnaround. And because there was no accountability, no responsibility for the choices they make, they keep saying, oh, it's all right. It ain't all right. We have to let them know that it's not all right.
What the both said, is on point, and I'm going to also say, let's look at it live and color in 2025. So we see the power of Eric Davis, and we honor Eric Davis as an ancestor. And y'all people that was in the first war with Hamilton, you can see the power of that brother, right? Yeah. So think about it. I want you guys to connect the dots. Always connect the dots, because there's a reason for the season. So let me say this. Anybody familiar with the Bacon Rebellion? The Bacon, B-A-C-O-N, Bacon Rebellion. The Bacon Rebellion of 1676. Anybody know the history of Bacon? That was a rebellion where Native Americans, white, and black people came together to say enough is enough. Now this is in 1676. Remember 1776? And then 1619? It goes on together. What happened in 1776? You guys help me. Declaration. Declaration of Independence. 100 years later, again, we're dealing with property owners. Get this guy. Why Bacon Rebellion was so important because all these rich people were exploiting the Native Americans, the Wampanoag, several other tribes in that area, and the whites, and the black people that never held on. And then what they did is they tricked them. Because then what the power structure did, they came to the whites and said, we're going to give you, and we're going to give you power to go hunt the Native Americans. Because we're going to give you, you're going to give them a listen, right? And so you're going to keep their going and all that kind of stuff. So they give white people power to make it feel that they're leading to the plantation owner or the business owner. So that's something we need to be aware of. Then next came from 1619 to 1865.
Well, we have to understand that
I've been corrected again. I left that out. It's so true. Again, when the Declaration was signed in 1776, and even with Juneteenth took place down there in Texas. It was 2 years after it was signed and we were emancipated. So we were 2 years free again. So they're going to show you what the system always feel about us. But I'm going to read you this right here. So, racial segregation took place from 1849 to 1950. When you think about Jim Crow and all those kind of things, when we talk about who was blaming who, a lot of times we go back blaming each other as part of our conditions. Our condition started when we were stolen from the land that we came from, and Africa was stolen. And then we were never able to get no firm footing because of the GI Bill, the New Deal, FDA loans, none of those things were ours. They did not have us in mind. And when we talk about the ghetto or marginalized communities, they were created by the federal government on purpose. It was not an accident. At one time, St. John, and some of you older people may know St. John. St. John was a village. It was almost like Tulsa. Everybody owned businesses over there on St. John. I remember as a kid, I'm from Chicago, we came here when I was 9 years old. We did not come on Saginaw Street. When I was living on St. John, I could not come on Saginaw Street. Yes, sir. Anybody remember that? Wasn't allowed. My parents didn't allow my dad, my mom and dad didn't allow me to go over because it was white people and they didn't do the same with the Number three. How many? The United States is 5% of the world population. This country is 5% of the world population. Locked up 25% of their people. This country is 5% of the world population, but we lock up 25% of our people in this country. Why? It is a business. At one time, it was plantation. When you had plantations and you working Negroes or black people, you worked them to death. You did not kill them. It wasn't our prison was too good for black people. We didn't go to prison. We did not go to prison. We did not go to prison. We even worked together to get here because that was our bad. Now, the prison industry, like I said, they got a new brand new country. We have no food. We don't have no resources for our children. We don't have no swimming pool. Even births don't have no swimming pool. Y'all think about that. We don't have a roller skating. Y'all think about that. Y'all think about that. When you look on Middle Road, what they all the toys and everything out on Middle Road. What we got on the north side? Now, that's the real thing. Then I'm getting down here. The United States is the #1 drug user and the number 2 polluter behind China. The United States is the #1 drug user and the number 2 polluter in the world. The United States is the #1 drug, and if anybody knows about history, when they started out with the transatlantic slave trade, it all was based on one drug. Anybody know what that drug is? Raise your hand. Who's the #1 drug? The #1 drug is slave trade power. Opium, all that other stuff was the biggest one. The biggest drug in the world is sugar. The biggest drug in the world is sugar. Yes. The biggest drug in the world is sugar. And you want to get educated, you want to get educated, you want to get educated, you want to find out. Brother Robert, don't talk about me behind my back. Talk about me in the face. Who's up?
Are you tired of these signature vendors that are too expensive and don't provide the support you deserve? There's a better solution.
Y'all pay attention to this. Get to this. All right there. Y'all pay attention, please to the floor.
Scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. And that can never be overlooked. So I think these things are absolutely necessary. The other thing is that America freed the slaves in 1863 with the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land, nothing in reality.
Stop. No land or nothing. Y'all get this? They so-called freed us. We were minding our business in Africa, running around butt naked, not raping each other, nothing like that, respecting the woman's body and all that was going on. Keep moving. Think about it, guys. Look at that mindset. So we were captured, enchained, tortured, the world was in the land. And then they say you're free. They give you nothing. And then you wonder why we are in this state that we in, psychologically, emotionally. How we feel inside sometimes, how we have a problem with one another, how our relationship between black men and black women can be precarious sometimes because we can't trust our woman, we can't trust our man, then our children are screwed up, guys. Come on, man. This got to get this. It's psychological as it is physical, guys.
To get started, at the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made this color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
Apart from wanting to live better, which all of us want to do, to raise one's children in a better way, to be better, does the Negro in America know what he wants to be?
I'm convinced that almost every Negro in this country, other than those who have been so scarred by the system that they've become pathological in the process, and we all have to battle with pathology. Nobody really knows what it means to be a Negro unless one can really experience it. And I know we all have to battle with this constant drain of a feeling of nobodiness. But in spite of this, I think the vast majority of Negroes in this country know that they want to be people, they want to be men. They want equality, period. It just boils down to that. And we haven't been able to be people. We haven't been men because of all of the conditions that we've lived with and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding conditions, whether it's in housing, in the economic area, or in schools, or in the vicious credit practices that we face in the ghetto, and all of the problems of closed doors and constant defeats. But in spite of all this, I think we all know, basically, that we want to be men. We want to be persons judged not on the basis of the color of our skin, but on the basis of the content of our character.
But you know that many young Negroes don't want anything that smacks the American white middle class. But do they want something that smacks of whatever is the black middle class? Or do they just not want bourgeois values, which after all are the basis of this democracy?
Well, I think we have to see what they are saying. I would be the first to agree that integration does not mean giving up everything that has an Afro-American taint, so to speak, a background. I think there are certain unique things within any culture and certain cultural patterns that when you get to the process of amalgamation can really lift the whole culture. And it seems to me that integration at its best is the opportunity to participate in the beauty of diversity. I think the other thing that we've got to see is that these young people are saying that there must be a revolution of values in our country. As Jimmy Baldwin said on one occasion, what advantage is there in being integrated into a burning house? And I feel that there is a need for a revolution of values in America, because some of the values that presently exist are certainly out of line with the values and the idealistic structure that brought our nation into being. Unfortunately, we haven't been true to these ideals. And many of the values of so-called white middle-class society are values that need to be reviewed and re-evaluated, and in a real sense, they need to be changed. So I think the young people in the Negro community who are raising these questions are raising some very profound questions about our total society. In other words, they are saying that there must be a restructuring of the architecture of our society, where values are concerned. And with this, I would agree with. So in the quest for integration, I think we can offer our whole nation something, because there are three evils in our nation. It's not only racism, but economic exploitation of poverty would be one, and then militarism. And I think in a sense, and in a very real sense, these three are tied inextricably together, and we aren't going to get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
When you stood in the Lincoln Memorial that day in August '63, and you said, I had a dream, did that dream envision that you could see a war in Asia preventing?
Okay, guys, so in closing, again, if y'all was paying attention, and he said it himself, Minister Farrakhan, inshallah, said about the burning house. And some people say we should become firemen. Many say let the house burn, because the house was never built for us, number one. Number two, Dr. King, and a few days after that taping right there that they don't show very much, you got to look for that one. He was murdered. His head was blown off because he was advocating for poor people, not just black people. When you start trying to get the conscience of people that have been institutionally left out, when you get the marginalized coming together, that's why they have us at each other's throats. That's why they have us paying attention to baseball, basketball, and football. That's how you have rivalries when people get in arguments over what team is their team and what team is my team. That's why you have an explosion in gambling right now. Because all those things are distractions. Back in the day, it was children. It was children. Stand up, man. Stand up. It was children like him, girls and boys like him, marching. They didn't know what they were marching for, but their parents was all locked up. They had their parents locked up. But the children left school and said enough is enough. Our children today don't want nothing. Our children think somebody owes them something. They don't even. I went over to my mother's house the other day, man. My nephew just came home from federal prison. The sidewalk on his shoulder. Man, I went up to that little boy, he's 24 years old. And I said, you crazy? You can get out this house. My sister gonna say, you can't come home to my mother, you get out. I said, sit down. You have to see when it's time for a man to step in. I said, you sit down, man. I mean, sister. And then he ran up, and I ran up. You know, what's up? You gonna tell her that no. How dare you come home from prison? Federal prison, smart kid, involved in. So anyway, we close. And they're all right. Again, we love you. We have a presentation with our beautiful children. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Ross. Thank you,
Definitely though, man. We appreciate it, Brother Robert. That's like, I had a few of those that come with that same type of energy coming up. You know what I mean? But that's what's so important about man. That's how man get lost in the sauce. You forget about how important man is to the community, to the family. And you need that type of direction, that guidance, and authority, right? So, I'm hoping that you all got something out of the conversation today. It should be offensive, nothing like that. It's a learning. Right? We all trying to get it together. And with that being said, now we talk about the past. Y'all got to excuse me. I bought this shirt like 2 years ago. It's wrong. It's wrong. So my breathing a little lighter now. We looked at the past, we looked at what was going on from Malcolm X, from Martin Luther King, and things of that nature. And so now we want to take the tone for the future. Because our young people are going to take this, whatever we build today, they're going to take it and they're going to build it tomorrow. You know, one day when I was in Egypt, I seen how they built the temple. The king would be in power, but as long as he's alive. And the temple will continue to be developed. Now when he died, whoever comes up next builds on top of that. So that's what we're doing over here. We build these foundations, these structures, whatever we build it right now, we can't take none of the stuff when we leave. But when we leave it behind, we expect you to build on top of it. Right? It's our job to get in the game, give them the tools necessary, but they give them the directions so they should carry it out. So at this time, we got our youth session, and definitely big shout out to our team over here that's preparing the meal for them. Look and smell them. We got a beautiful spread over here. So once we wrap up the youth section, then we just go over here. We can have food, we can fellowship, we can connect with each other. Right? We talk about some of the stuff we're talking about today. I got a few plugs to put in. Right? So we want to bring up. You all understand what happened with Ray Shaheed, right? You know we on the front line fighting for this brother and his family, right? We have another mother who lost her son, who had to bury her son, and received his degree during graduation. You know that? We know that we are definitely just making sure that the sisters, the extended family is okay. We got their back. So what we got, we pass it on to Brother Anthony Garvin to give an update about Ray Shaheed, what you do.
Thank you all for coming out this day, celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And for those of you that are aware, and those of you that are not aware of the situation that we're dealing with on behalf of the Brunch family, as Brother Juan stated, it is a tragedy, and it's going on right on the street, and we must step up to the challenge. So, when we get louder, singing loud in my ears. Anyway, you all hear me now. We have some petitions here for justice. This is the first one right here, petition for justice for Iran. This one is for the Flint City Council. Republican announced this situation. Justice matter, which they have nothing to do at this time. And we also have a second petition. This is for the State Attorney General Diane Nelson to help her understand that we as a community, we want justice for this young man. We're demanding justice. We're demanding that they release officer's name, that they release video footage, everything that we have coming as a community, but first and foremost, this young man's family, especially his mother and all his siblings. We want justice. We need to step up to the plate and make them be held accountable for the things that they are not doing on behalf of justice. And we must fight. Just as Dr. King fought for us, we must fight. Yes, ma'am, you have a question?
I have a question. The petition for the city council, can you not sign?
Thank you, great question. About these petitions, anybody can sign. It is not like a registered to vote. That's that. Anybody can sign. You don't have to be a resident in Michigan. We are right now pushing both these petitions abroad. We're trying to push it to every major city, every major chapter, because everybody can sign the petition. As long as you can understand complicated language, which is simple. As you guys come up here to sign, those who did not sign the sign-in sheet, it'll be up here as well. Those who have not signed the petition for Iran, they'll be up here also. Please take the time, you guys come up and sign, make sure you sign everything.
Those of us that don't know, what happened?
You want to know what happened in regards to Iran? Okay. This is. Okay. I'm going to take you. We have time now, but I've been living with this since day one. Since this happened in November last year, November 2nd of last year. He was walking from the store with his friends, and he was almost home. The Michigan State Police encountered him, and they chased him. He ran out of fear, and he was shot 7 times. Once in the back of the head. The young man was unalive. The initial report was he had a gun. His friends that were with him said they found half of it. So here we are now, since November of last year to this day. We have not got a response from Michigan State Police Post, which protested at Carolina Road. We have not got any acknowledgement from the city council, nor the mayor. And we are now waiting for David Nelson, the attorney general, who they say has the investigation. I just watched the other day on the news where everything happened in Saginaw, where the video footage from the body cam was released so quick, like 2 days later. So, if you're taking, something ain't right with this situation. It's taking too long to review a body cam footage. There is no excuse of saying that, oh, the case, I got so many cases, case load. None of that. This is nonsense. We're talking about a young man who lost his life. And his mother had to accept his graduation. That's heartbreaking. Yes.
Because she needs 100 more days, correct?
Yes, she says she needs, thank you. She says she needs 100 more days to review the body cam. That's not footage. That's not true. Well, she doesn't need 100 days. Oh, okay. That's not true. Oh,
But if you don't know or understand the process, if you don't know the rules, anybody can go ahead. They tell you, 90 days, 6 days, you just go along with it. Until you are knowledgeable of the situation, then that's how you fight the fight. So even with this situation, Ray Ron, it's an unfortunate situation. It don't take too long to read about it. It don't take long to read about it, man. What it is, it gives them enough time to get their story together. Before they roll it out to the public, they already have a clear idea how they want to support and proceed, right? So we have to put pressure on David Nelson, who did all that talking about how she was going to hold folks accountable for the water management. They ain't still on business at all. And now we're sitting up here and got this investigation on your desk, and you giving us all these extensions there. Extension this, extension that. You and others, people, we ain't got to stand for that. I guarantee you, if we all shut up at our door tomorrow, we'll be taking me up here. That's how it's a reaction sometimes. And you really want to see how we going to respond, how engaged are we. And when we had a meeting with police officers, I'm going to tell you this is how they look. When it's a situation that takes place, this is how the community is perceived. If y'all ain't no if y'all ain't no more about it, why should we? Yeah, look at it, every day. This is a situation. That's unfortunate that we got to be looking at it. But if it's a crime not to community one, it's a crime for everybody. So I don't care if you're at the job, I don't care if you're at the church, I don't care if you're down at the center. When it's time to show up, everybody got to be 10 toes down.
If you don't mind, can I have an extra picture so I can kick off the city and also show you?
That's big. That's how you big. All right.
No problem. We'll make sure you guys get a copy of all of them, send it to you, but also before you leave as well, make sure that you sign these ones we have up here for all and all. And again, this is a major situation. Very dangerous that Juan pointed out, because if we allow them to do this and we remain silent, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
They are moving from qualified communities to total. So they already acting like they're qualified.
Right.
Think about what they get. Now, you see this administration coming in today, right? You see it talking about signing 100% of water.
This is the reason why they prolonged it so much, because that's what they involved with it.
So you have to understand the height of what we did. That's why we said it's going to be an interesting 4 years. And I don't want us to get discouraged because it ain't like we don't got nothing to do, like we can't do nothing about it. It's like, I'm kind of glad that it's this question, right? Because we would just sitting on our hands. Being like, everything is done. We didn't do everything. It's like my father came in. Yeah, that's my brother. So like,
The thing is, you gotta cover it. Now it's gonna make you work a little bit. Sometimes you gotta get cover. I'm okay with it, right? Because this really shows you how they really gonna perform. When you're back against the wall, and they control the Senate, they control the executive branch, they control the House. So how you gonna fight? What you gonna do about it? So then also how we need to re-examine the Democratic Party, even our own party. You don't necessarily gotta always be choosing between the two. You need to be independent. You need to be thinking of another party. So if you change the name, it's like the Green Tea Party, they switched it up on. Y'all should be doing the same. We should be doing the same thing. We ain't gotta go with the same stuff one day. I get tired of coming to our community, coming in 2 weeks before election, come hold rallies like they've been doing for the last 1 year. Y'all get yourself right here. That's how you got to set it on business. So, that being said, what's the latest point? But I do want to make sure we get the young people in, and then we got food prepared for everybody. So I just want to make sure that we go.
Yeah, question, last question. There is an all action here now. What it is all supervisors, police departments in the county show up. And I went out to Mount Morris, didn't see right. That supervisor out there used to be over the station. And I said, what if that was your child? What would you do? And he tried, well, anyway, he said, Dana Nestle, who have Republicans in Lansing, they will go after the police. I'm sorry, we have Democrats in Lansing, they will go after the police. Republicans, they're
I want to put some stuff to the side.
so a group of people need to go to that meeting, the all-back meeting, with about 10 of those obituaries, 20 of those obituaries. Ain't nobody got to say nothing, just pass them out. They have canine here. We got to the meeting a little late. And he's talking about how, and they had the man in the suit, the dog jumped on him. And people said, if the dog doesn't release, I have two people that I stick in the dog's mouth. And I said, who's going to be affected by that dog? Black people in the county. I said, now, if you can't stop that dog from remaining, he is in some damage to the world. And more likely, his dog, we're going to stick him on some black people.
Now, you was there up there in that meeting.
Yeah, so they come in, well, what is the next? Gordon?
We get the information.
They got on there and say nothing. I don't know if the love is in shape to go for that. Just say, this is the money. But those need to be done, but you can file a paper and complaint with the Justice Department of Washington, D.C. And you can do it anonymously. You don't have to put your name out there or about it. Nobody can come call with a message, call it all like that. Let's throw a rock in that case. That's what I'm at. Thank you.
So, now we transition to young people. We talk about the future. Y'all enjoy yourselves this far? Yeah, we get everybody information because we do see correspondence about different updates with Rainbow Shaggy, different events that we have in the community, different programs that we have for the youth, all those different things. So if you got a young, nephew, grandson, somebody need a little mentoring, you know, we are always here for them. We kind of do it the team way. We got a manager. There's some situations that we got all down in town. We're about to do a program out there too, so we can definitely know folks down there in the sheriff's office. And you know, make sure our citizens down there are definitely prepared. So a lot of different things come up this year. We be traveling to Ghana next month, so that's going to be part of African Exchange. Down here, right? And we'll be going over there. So we're looking at doing business, commerce, right? Import, export,
with our people from African community, which is important, right? And I love what Rocky is doing out there, man. This thing took back over the gold reserve. Yeah, the president took back over the gold reserve on up there, now it's flourished. Right? Just think of all the countries in Africa did. They took back over the natural resources. They don't have the British strength, all these other folks capitalizing off of their natural resources, which is legit. So I do want to shout out to that. So it's a great thing that's coming down the floor, man. So with that being said, we're going to bring our young people up. First, we go ahead and call this is our youth department, our youth section. All right, so let's welcome down Miss Noe. Let's go on bring it down, Miss Noe. Okay, well, young people, can you introduce yourself? Say your full name, how old you are, what school you attend, what grade you are. Be loud. Very good. All right.
Yeah, okay, now.
Good job. Wow.
That's the product of working with the young people and preparing them for things like this. To get up and speak in front of crowds is very, like one of the second, third most scary things to do, right? So when we prepare our young people nowadays, when they're doing it, they get up there, when they become grown, they're going to be doing it, right? All right, our next one to come up. Let's make some noise for Monty. Monty, more back. Let's make some noise for our young brothers in there.
Hello, I'm Brazil. This is.
Which part of school you go to, how old you are?
Yeah.
I'm 11 years old. I go to Lincoln Charter Academy, and I'm in 10th grade.
Y'all go to the same school, so? Oh, okay, y'all be seeing each other? Now y'all know to look after one another. Because if you don't, then we're going to get you. All right? You're right. School you go to?
I go to the academy school in.
How old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
What grade?
Second.
Second grade. You looking for the paper? Okay. All right, y'all give him a round of applause. Get him. Get.
If you can fly, then run. If you can run, then walk.
You're right.
If you can walk, then crawl.
Come on now.
But whatever you do, you will have to keep moving forward.
Come on now. Right. Come on now. Come on now. That reminds me of the winter in '89. When Mama wanted me to do the Easter speech. They didn't think I was gonna do it, right? I was 2 at the time, and they like, yeah, we're gonna have you say these words, right? You know, the whole practice, I ain't say nothing, right? But it was showtime. I came up there and got to it, right? And was proud of it. Granny be reminding me that every year. I remember that. So it was a proud moment. Anyway, all right, now we're gonna call in our last 2 young people for this evening. Come on up, Arnold. Mr. and Miss Arnold. Amari Arnold. Amari Arnold. Come on, give a round of applause. Amari. Amari. Gotcha. Okay, so y'all introduce yourselves, man. So you say your full name, how old you are, what school you attend, what grade you in.
My name is Amalia Renee. I'm 11 years old. I go to Burton Glen Charter Academy, and I'm in the 4th grade.
Come on, man.
My name is Ahmad Rahim Arnold, and I'm 7 years old, and I go to Burton Glen Charter Academy.
All right.
Her name is Amira, and she's 3.
That's right. Come on now. Big 3.
Okay. So give me what
Martin
Say it
Luther
loud.
Say it loud,
so they can hear back there.
What should we do, Martin Luther King? Become a fighter. Let us not stand by the burning house.
All right.
Did you see that though? Good job.
All right, y'all, let's go.
You did good, man.
You did good, Mama.
You did good too, little mama. All right. Yeah. Yeah, what's up?
As I sat here, and I thought about Dr.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we have to do first is love ourselves.
That's right.
And if we can love nobody else until we love ourselves.
That's real.
And can we do the mantra?
Of course.
So that we can raise it up in our children and in our nation.
Let's do it.
We can get back to the place of love.
Let's get the young people back up here. Young people, mine. Amari. You good? Okay. Come on, can I get all the Joey? Come on, can I get the children up here?
Yes, all of them.
So, this is y'all time, right? So y'all step up front. Y'all up front. Come over here, Amari. Come on, little mama. All the way in the front. There you go. So, one thing that we do with our freedom school youth, they do a mantra, right? Do you know what a mantra means and what it represents?
It's an affirmation that you say to yourself. It's an affirmation that you share. It's some words of empowerment, right? It's reconnecting with the spirituality of who you are and our ancestors who gave us the way. So with that being said, one thing for sure, Mother Delore, Dr. E. Hill Delore, who was a phenomenal figure for umpteen years here in the community of Flint, not only just in the community of Flint, but she was around the world. We had the blessings of traveling to Haiti 5 years, 5 times, in Africa together. She was just a phenomenal woman. She left these affirmations, Juneteenth celebration, Kwanzaa that we just wrapped up a couple weeks ago. She was the orchestrator, facilitator for it all. So all we doing is just passing on tradition. We was able to step up, do the work today. So in the next 40, 50 years, we're going to be passing it on, and you all going to be making it work, right? But you're going to have more children that's in there. So when we all go, it's going to be you all. And you want to make sure you set the tone for the next one, for the next 50, 100 years, though. That's how important this work is, right? So we dependent on it, right? And we're going to make sure you support it. We got your back, okay? That's why when y'all out there, make sure y'all represent well. Y'all represent all of us in this room. We ain't got time to wait. So, with that being said, anybody know the mantra? I know me. You know what's up? You know. I accept me. I forgive me. God. You got it. Okay. So with this being said, we gonna follow y'all lead. So we'll say it together once, so you got it all. I want to throw you out there. So the first thing you say is, I know me. I know me. Because you know yourself better than anybody else. Right? You know how you operate. You know what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You know you. Better than your own mother or father. Right? When you say, I accept me. I accept me. You accept who you are. You ain't got to be like nobody else. There's only one you. One-on-one. Right? That's what makes you so unique and a special human being. Okay? What's the next one? I love me. I love me. You have to love yourself first and foremost before you love anybody else. Right? So before you can say you love anybody, make sure you love yourself. Right? Because how you love yourself is going to reflect on your love for others. Okay, what's the next one? I forgive me. I forgive me. I forgive me for all your shortcomings. I forgive myself. Don't hold on to none of the weight. If you messed up, it's okay. We all make mistakes. But you got to forgive yourself and then perform and move on. Got it? And the last one? God lives within me. God lives within me. Now we got different backgrounds. You may say God, you may say the Most High, whatever you're saying, right? There's a higher power that lives within you, right? You got a higher power that you answer to. Nobody's out here just doing what they're doing on their own, right? You got to connect to the source. In our case, God, the Most High, however you want to say it, Yahweh, whatever you want to look at it, right? It's a higher power that brought you into the mix with everybody today. So, all right. So you all lead us in the affirmation. We're going to follow you. So make sure you say it loud, right? Get your deep breaths in, right? Get your energy up, right? And be ready to go ahead and lead everybody. So it's all on you, okay? Y'all got it? Do we need to say it again? Denzel, we need to say it one more time? No. You got the juice? You got it? You got it? You got it? Or you need to say it again? Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pass it on to y'all. We're going to follow suit. All right. Let's give them up. I know me. I accept me. I love me. Forgive me. I forgive me. God lives within me. So you say it 3 times. Okay, this is the second time. I know me. I accept me. I respect me. I We say that.
Oh.
That's good. Is I know me, I accept me, I love me, I forgive me, a higher power lives within me. Okay.
I know me.
I know me.
I accept me.
I accept me.
I love me.
I love me.
God lives within me.
God lives within me. All right, now let's say it this last time, and let's say it as loud as we can. Make sure you feel it. Make sure the ancestors that guide us every day hear it, right? So say it as loud as you can. Make sure everybody energized. All right, let's go.
I love me.
I know me.
I know me.
I know me.
I accept me.
I accept me.
I love me.
I love me.
I forgive me.
I forgive me.
God lives within me.
God lives within me. All right. And now it is time for us. Look at little boy. It is time for us to eat. So what we'll do is, you can have time to kick it and chop it up with each other because that's what the time is just for. So I'm going to turn it over to our phenomenal cast over here who's going to give us the rundown of how they want things to go. We're going to take break first and foremost. Yes.
God bless the food. We want to see the nourishment to our body. Take away any impurities that may be harmful. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Okay, good. Why don't you give us another prayer?
I got this big old deck roll. This is like zero.
How you been?
What's up, mama?
I know he
because he was repeating the same thing. I said, but he's supporting an eviction. And I've been coming down here when y'all first arrested him, asking for